Chapter 8. One day after long absence, Wob came into the lower part of his range and saw to his surprise one of the wooden dens that men make for themselves. As he came around to get the wind, he sensed the taint that never failed to infuriate him, and a moment later he heard a loud bang and felt a stinging shock to his left hind leg, the old stiff one. He wheeled about in time to see a man running towards the new-made shanty. Had the shot been in his shoulder, Wob would have been helpless, but it was not. Mighty arms that could toss pine logs like broomsticks, paws that with one tap could crush the biggest bull upon the range, claws that could tear huge slabs of rock from the mountainside, what was even a deadly rifle to them. When the man's partner came home that night, he found him on the reddened shanty floor. The bloody trail from outside and a shaky scribbled note on the back of a paper novel told the tale. It was Wob that done it. I seen him by the spring and wounded him. I tried to get on into the shanty, but he fetched me. My God, how I suffer. Jack. It was all fair. The man had invaded the bear's country, had tried to take the bear's life, and had lost his own. But Jack's partner swore he would kill that bear. He took up the trail and followed it up into the canyon, and there bushwhacked and hunted day after day. He put out baits and traps, and at length one day he heard a crash, a clatter, and a thump, and a huge rock bounding down a bank into the woods, scaring out a couple deer that floated away like a thistledown. Miller thought at first that it was a landslide, but he soon knew that it was Wob that had rolled that boulder, merely for the sake of 2 or 3 ants behind it. The wind had not betrayed him, so, peering through the bush, Miller saw the Great Bear as he fed, favoring his left hind leg, and growling sullenly to himself at each fresh twinge of pain. Miller steadied himself and thought, here goes a finisher or a dead miss. He gave a sharp whistle, and the bear stopped every move, and as he stood with ears acock, the man fired at his head. But at that moment, the great shaggy head moved, and only an infuriating scratch was given. The smoke betrayed the man's place, and the grizzly made savage 3-legged haste to catch his foe. Miller dropped his gun and swung lightly into a tree, the only large one near. Wob raged in vain against that trunk. He tore off the bark with his teeth and claws, but Miller was safe beyond his reach. For 4 full hours the grizzly watched, and then gave up and slowly went off in the brush until lost from view. Miller watched for him from the tree, and waited nearly an hour to be sure the bear was gone. Then he slipped to the ground, got his gun, and set out for camp. But Wob was cunning. He only seemed to go away, and then sneaked back quietly to watch. As soon as the man was away from the tree, too far to return, Wob dashed after him. In spite of his wounds, the bear could move faster. Within a quarter of a mile, Wob did just what that man had sworn to do to him. Long after, his friends found the gun and enough to tell the tale. The claim shanty on the Metzey fell to pieces. It never again was used, for no man cares to enter a country that had but few allurements to offset its inevitable curse of ill luck, and with such a terrible grizzly who was always on the war path. End of chapter 8.